today I have the pleasure of speaking with Naman. Naman is a marketer at Zoho, specializing in Zoho Flow. The main reason that I wanted to invite him to the show is because he's touching different business owners around the world with different use cases, and he knows what type of automations companies are using across the globe. So today we're going to touch on different type of automations and how Zoho Flow can help you automate your business. Naman, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Thank you for your compliments. It's all a part of growth. We grow together. We build businesses together. We build solutions together. And well, the world develops in that way.
So tell us a little bit about Zoho Flow. So for people that don't know what is Zoho Flow and how can they take advantage of this beautiful application?
When you look at a business, right, there are multiple applications. If you just take a look at your customer management itself, you want to manage their data, you want to manage their contacts, you want to manage what subscription they are. That alone would probably require about 3 to 4 applications. Now, move it across different business verticals. Let's say finance, you have operations or marketing, and I don't know what else. HR, that's one more. So each of them have different applications. Now, your data sits in one, but then it could be utilized better in some other application. Somebody would have to manually do it. Look, if it's 1 or 2 data entries, or let's say about 15, 20 a day, you're good to go manually. But then if you have hundreds of records, thousands of records, you have to process some data, you need to do certain operations. Could you do it manually? Yes. Do you want to do it manually? Probably not, because it's not a good use of your resources. Honestly, you might as well dump your time in a dumpster than doing this manual work. And do not even get me started on the data errors that we human make on day-to-day basis. So just eliminate those by integrating. Your data is sitting in an island in itself. It's siloed. Each application is siloed. That's the problem that we're trying to solve with Flow as an integration platform. It connects your silos together so that your data becomes your gold, and it's just not sitting and gathering dust somewhere in some corner of your application.
From what we saw with automation, and it's exactly aligning with what you said. So we saw people that are going to automations, one, because they want to save manpower, which eventually, let's say you have 20 salespeople, each one of them will save about 2 hours a day. Their average
Correct.
pay is about, let's say, $30 per hour. And eventually you will save $400,000, 20,000, whatever, but you're saving some kind of an amount a year. Another use
Correct.
case was errors. So when people doing things repeatedly, they have a good chance, about 10% to 15% chances that they will hit the wrong button, do the wrong thing. And as a result, there will be mistakes that will cost the business lots of time to fix it.
Correct. A very simple thing. Let's say if I'm copying pasting a name from one application to another, just one alphabet, you are not able to relocate the data, you're not able to find it in the application. You're
Right.
going to break your head for us to locate it, where the mistake happened, how did the mistake happen, and I'm not even talking about the accountability here. Who are you going to hold accountable? Yes, it's
Right.
human error, but then you have to rectify, right? So why not just eliminate all those? You have
Absolutely.
hundreds of things to look into. Data handling should not be one of those things that occupies your mind. It's prime real estate. You really want it to be handled by these things or being occupied by such data points or such worries? No. I would say Zoho Flow in a way helps you reinvest the time, the effort, the money you have saved in your business. If not even business, your personal life.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
probably what I would put Zoho Flow as a pain point to reinvest the things that matter to you.
I will give you a use case that save us a full-time employee. So an employee full-time. Whenever a meeting is being booked from our website, so if you go to our website, there will be a calendar. You choose the date, the person can book the appointment. It automatically creates the person as a deal in the account. It creates the contact, obviously, creates the account, setting up all the variables based on the pages that they saw before. we assume that they want, let's say, the sales automation package or Zoho development or portals. Based on that, we're setting up the products. The entire deal is ready for me when I'm going to the sales meeting. Everything is already
Correct.
set up. I just need to click on the blueprint buttons to select what happened. If the person is a no-show, they will get some
Correct.
automations. If it's a show, what happened during the meeting and what are the next steps. It's all automated. Before, we had the
Exactly.
human doing it, taking the details, copy paste, doing all these things manually.
I was actually having this conversation with a solopreneur and he loves flow. He like, I am happy working alone because flow is the admin person that I need to do all my manual work. And he's been doing it, I think, for 2 years right now, 2.5 years. He's been using Flow, and his entire business is automated using Zoho Flow. From adding people to meetings, to training, to subscription management, account keeping, then checking status of what they've bought, when they've bought a subscription, signing agreements, to whatnot. So when I was talking to him, he told me, I'm happy to be a solopreneur only because of Zoho Flow. That's, I think, something inspiring, and it's not only for a small business or a solopreneur. As and when you grow, your business grows, your business scales, the complexity of your workflows, the complexity of automation you require, the complexity of real-time data that you need at your disposal also grows.
Of course.
How do you handle it? You could, let's say, use a native integration. I have, let's say, a CRM, I have a book or an accounting software. If connected them, but then what if I have a blueprint? Like if you use Zoho CRM, there is an exhaustive amount of blueprints that you can create, customize it as per your requirement. Then
Yeah.
how do I pass my data? How do I send it to like a QuickBooks, a Zoho Books, or any other accounting software that my business uses? What do I do? Do I start scratching my head, or do I get somebody there? No, you have two options. You could either use an integration platform or you could custom code it. Now, for me, having a developer to sit full time on an integration is a luxury and a waste of resource. Anything breaks, you do not know which data has broken, you don't know at what time it's broken. How do I rectify it? No. For that, I need another application that records every movement of my data and then shows an error message that okay, this data was off. Hey, Zoho Flow does the same thing. You don't need a developer. Reutilize them, reinvest them, grow your business, ensure your platform that or the service you are offering is being utilized or that developer is being utilized there. Leave your integration pain to us. We'll handle it.
I saw from our experience working with Zoho Flow, there are two types of flows. One will be the
Mm-hmm.
basic ones, the drag and drop, relatively easy to do, which any person can do. You don't need to be a developer to do them. They're very simple. The other
Mm-hmm.
ones will be a little bit more sophisticated, where a developer is required, where you need to
Correct.
grab data and then you're
Mm-hmm.
getting some kind of a JSON, some kind of data set that need to be
Correct.
parsed, need to be worked on, and then the developer needed at this point. But I would say that most cases, you don't need a developer to work with Zoho Flow. It can be just drag and drop, and
Mm-hmm.
everything works well.
True. That's a very valid point, Leo. Yes, you may need a developer when you touch upon custom functions in Zoho Flow that's powered by Deluge script. That's Zoho's proprietary coding language. However, you can learn Deluge scripting on our website. Probably you spend about 3-4 hours. It's not complicated. You have
Right.
assistants, you have some preset functions over there, commands to be used. And about in 4-5 hours you can build. Yes, when you go too complex, where you have multiple data sources, you have formulas to be added, certain conditions to be met, and a lot more, you would require a developer. But then if you're ensuring that 80% of the developer's work is done, the 20% doesn't pinch.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I'm with you with this approach. Also, the entire channel, we have over 700 videos on this channel. We're
Mhm.
always recommending people to know the software, to try to do it themselves, and to get a developer for the other 20% that they can do. Some business owners, obviously, they are busy. They don't have time to do anything. And that's fine, obviously. But for people that do want to know, it's always recommended to know the software that you are working on.
I'll actually try sharing the same point from a use case perspective. So this is in customer who was in e-commerce business, and it's a team of about 5 6 people, and they sell corrugated boxes, carton boxes for your shipments. A CEO, or rather the co-founder, and he takes care of operations. He has no knowledge of coding, but then he has integrated Shopify with Zoho inventory, and he's built custom functions himself. He learned Deluge script. He tried it out. It failed. There were some errors. He came back to us. A support team helped him out, corrected his code, and today he just runs his business on Flow. And because of Flow, he has saved at least how much? About again 80,000 USD annually. It may be complex, yes, but then when we were kids, walking also was complex for us, right? We
Right.
learned it, we start running, we sprint, we now drive cars, aeroplanes, and hell, we still go to space here.
Yeah, the question is
So,
how determined the business owner is, right? If your kid is not walking the
yeah,
first time, you're not saying he is not a walker. Let's stop with it, you know. He will never walk. You
correct.
try again and you try again until the point that they're walking, right?
It's your business. At the end of the day, it's your sweat, it's your money that you've put in. Some effort will definitely pay you dividend.
So if possible, let's touch about different use cases that you think
Mhm.
that those will be interesting use cases that companies around the world did with Zoflow, which obviously eventually saved manpower, saved bugs, errors, copy paste, and all the stuff that people don't want to waste their time on.
Let's talk about tech here again. One of the use cases that I have is of a gaming company. Now, they are a hardcore Microsoft user. Now, they wanted to streamline their ticketing platform, or rather, their ticketing and customer support, because they were getting constant feedback from customers in their game, bug reports, and more. They picked up Zoho Desk. They tried integrating, well, didn't work out. There comes Flow. Flow is integrated with all their Microsoft applications and Desk, and ensured that their customer experience has increased, their tickets have reduced, and that in turn helped them develop better games.
What was the business use? Like what this flow fixed?
So, Flow was able to once streamline their ticketing process completely. Bug reports that come to the server when, let's say, when you're playing a game, it crashes for some reason. It goes to the server. From the server, it comes to Zoho Desk via Flow. It creates a ticket in Desk. The person is able to troubleshoot it, push a patch onto the server, and in turn goes to the game. When there are some issues with purchase, again it goes to the server. Now, how do you get data from the server? Again, create a desk ticket using Flow, see what the issue is. So when the customer comes back, hey, I purchased an item for about $15, but it's not showing in my account, they know that okay, it was purchased, there is a ticket, that yes, there is some error, let's troubleshoot it. So that was one of the biggest use cases that that customer had, that how do I streamline my customer experience, how do I ensure my support is streamlined, I am able to offer a much superior experience, I'm top of my business, and I know what my customers need from me.
Yeah,
That's where
that's
Zoho Flow
awesome.
comes.
Yeah, that's a super interesting use case. It's very cool. Especially
That's
the bug uh, sharing the bugs from an app to the ticketing system. That's awesome.
so another. I actually now moved on to a medical use case, and this involves IoT.
That's awesome
So
because we have
this
tons of medical practices. So that's awesome.
I'll give you from different verticals. You tell me the vertical. I am sure I will have a use case where Flow is being
I'm
used.
an empty cup. Bring it. I will drink it.
So this company has integrated IoT devices with Flow, and these devices are quite critical. These are for diabetic patients, heart patients who have a pacemaker in their heart. Now, to monitor if their glucose level is fine, if the heartbeat is fine, their vitals are right and fine, they have used Flow. So they have relied on their customers' lives with Flow. They have integrated their system that's built on Zoho Creator, and they've integrated the IoT device with it using Zoho Flow. So the data comes in, it gets recorded. If there is some anomaly, it immediately sends out a message to the customer or to the user of the IoT device that, hey, there is something off with you, please go get it checked. And it also sends out a message to their relatives.
Wow. So you have the devices pushing information, probably using webhooks to Flow. Flow is pushing
Correct.
it to Creator or other places, processing the
Yes.
information, pushing back if there is. Wow, that's awesome. That will lead me to another question. Do you feel that Zoho Flow is stable enough and safe enough and have all the compliance in place so a business can rely solely on Zoho Flow as a platform?
Before Zoho, Zoho itself is quite compliant. We were GDPR compliant years before when it became a mandate for EU, and we are not only GDPR compliant in EU, we are GDPR compliant across the globe. And by default, all Zoho products are GDPR compliant. And subsequently, we have a lot of certifications that
Yeah, SOC
ensure our
2, HIPAA
customers.
compliance, PCI. Yeah, I'm familiar with most of them. It's super interesting that Zoho spends so much money being compliant and having third-party companies monitoring them and verifying them. It's crazy.
If you look at one of our taglines, or I think a few years back we had this tagline, your data belongs to you.
That's right.
And we stand by it till date. You talk to our CEO, Sridhar Wembu, he's going to tell you that I am never going to monetize your data
Yeah.
at any cost. And to ensure that, we have made data centers across the globe and we own them, we maintain them. And as and when requirement comes in, we construct on that.
I actually talked to him the last Zoolix that I've been, and I asked him about the data, and he said that
Mm-hmm.
Zoho, as long as he's alive, Zoho will never
Correct.
go public, and Zoho will
Exactly.
never share data and will never monetize the data ever. That's a big
Which is true.
statement.
And he stands by it till date, and we all do by it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that takes care of your compliance. Now, if I talk about compliance, there are again a lot of government bodies using Zoho products. It's not only Flow here. It is a
Right.
trust that bodies have on Zoho. Along with that, when you talk about stability, yes, there are avenues or there are places where we could be more stable. I wouldn't lie on that. But then when I look at hindsight, we've been in the market for about 6.5 years now. We started in 2019. We have grown leaps and bounds. From there, we've grown from cloud. Now we are into on-prem integrations as well. And it's not just a simple one. You have the agent sitting behind your firewall. So again, it is in your control. And only if you give a permission to a specific port to be opened, it will communicate with Zoho servers. So we ensure that your data is with you, your compliance is taken care when you look at our on-prem integration. Because we understand for enterprise customers, they need to be as tight as possible when it comes to compliance. Because the volumes of data and the impact of that data on anybody's life is huge.
There is also the point, if we are on this point, Zoho will have data centers that are complying with the country that they are on. So let's say Canada will have now its own center, in the US, obviously the EU, Australia, and
Yes,
so on. So also that's a huge, I don't know if other companies like Salesforce, maybe yes, maybe not, they would invest to have their own data centers per country, so they will be compliant with the countries. So if, for example, I'm a Canadian business and I'm working with the government, the information cannot be shared with US entities, for example, because once it's
correct.
crossing the border, the US will have, they can hold the data and take use of it, right? So in that case, Zoho needed to create their own data centers on Canadian soil so they can
Hmm.
interact with Canadian servers without crossing the border. That's
Correct.
insane. That's a huge project. which took, I think, like
Yes,
3-4 years, right?
I think the Canadian data center itself took about 4 years, close to 4 years. So recently we, I think, announced Saudi data center. Europe, yes, we have data centers. Australia data centers there. We have a data center. Japan as well.
That's
US,
amazing.
obviously, and there are a lot more coming through.
Yeah, that's huge. I don't know how many companies are doing that. Let's go back to the use cases. Give me more cool stuff. You're opening my brain now to different areas and things that can be done, using Zoho Flow. We have lots of customers in the manufacturing industry. Do you have anything from this area?
How about I give you some brief from a pharmaceutical business?
Fantastic. We have those as well.
So this company is a growing pharmaceutical company in its country. They again work heavily on creator and flow, from managing their inventory. That's, I mean, by inventory, I mean raw material, finished goods, work in progress.
So the stuff that Zoho inventory will not do in a good way, this is why they created it in Zoho Creator. Makes sense.
Kind of complementing the limitations of a product that may have. And that's something what a developer platform does. So Zoho has this thing called a developer suite of products, which includes Creator, Flow, Zoho RPA, Q Engine, and more. So these are products that are there to solve your critical pain points that a point product may not be in a position to solve.
Right.
You build it as per your requirement to address your pain points and build it as per your convenience. In that use case, they have the entire inventory being managed, they have the shipping being managed, they have, I think, to some extent, I think the customer data as well. And being a pharmaceutical company, you have to maintain records of each batch you've made, each test that has been conducted for the batch, and that's for a
Yeah.
prolonged period. So all the different systems that they have as standalone silos talk to Creator using Zoho Flow.
So as for the previous point, I can see if companies are relying so heavily on the data, it means it's super stable. Otherwise, it's defeating the purpose, right? If you have every day some problems with data.
I still remember I was having this conversation with one of my seniors about 8 months back. This is a thing we redid our pricing, and we started offering higher task for users to use. So we have this one customer who exhausted all tasks, and because of him, we had to come up with higher plans up to 30 million tasks per month. So they are a Zoho One user and they have an insane user license, uh, 250, 300, 350. I don't exactly know the number of license. So what tasks they get from their licenses plus about 15 million task add-on is what they have per month.
That's insane. That's a huge number.
So there's this one South African customer growing. They're growing well, and they're helping people out in the African markets. They wanted something that's more robust to be used. They tried a couple more other integration platforms. They couldn't, and they found Flow. Again, it's a creator and a Flow use case. But then let me also point out that it's not entirely that Flow only works with Creator. Creator again sits in the center of their business, and they have a couple of third-party applications that processes payments for them, that processes sales, what's happening at the foot or on the ground, what sales is happening, subscription management. So they do about the trigger gets triggered about 80,000 times a day. And again, they have no errors. They find it very smooth, very simple to execute it. And he just loves you. Like, I don't have to worry, I don't have to sweat anything. And by ensuring the stability that we're offering them, they have increased their sales by over 50%. I'll give you another example here. This is a little interesting. This customer is an e-commerce company. They have basically streamlined their customer retention come marketing using Zoho Flow. So what they do is when an order is created using fetch action of a CRM, they check if the customer is available in their database or no, immediately create a customer, do the same in their accounting software, create a bill, send it to the customer, and after a delay of few days, they send a customized discount coupon to the customer based on the order value that they've purchased.
Oh, so based on that, there will be different coupons.
And these coupons are created dynamically. For each customer, it is going to be a unique coupon with an expiration date set. And
Super
in
cool.
case for some reason the flow fails, they have error branching, which notifies the team and tells them exactly which execution has failed or for which record the code was not created.
Yeah, and if you want, you can fix the problem, click on retry, and then it will run
Correct.
again.
You can either do that, you can create it manually, so your team is informed. There is this, again, there's one interesting use case that I'll actually want to share with you. This is again an e-commerce company. Unfortunately, now there are some e-commerce companies coming in, but I particularly want to share this use case with you and actually everybody, because it was created by a operations person who doesn't know coding, but then hey, likes to tinker around here and there with code or try to learn. He created Zoho Flow using webhooks, custom functions, and apps that are available. He's integrated a local ERP. He's integrated Amazon. He's integrated Shopify. Integrated his own website to Zoho inventory and different flows using Zoho Flow. Again, there was some help with custom functions over there, deluge scripting. That's one part of it, one part of the business. The second part of the business comes from Zoho inventory to the logistics team. They have different logistics vendor. So automatically creating a pickup request, creating the tickets for it, creating barcodes, everything is done by Flow. The impact that they've had is significant. They have saved about 1,500 hours annually.
That's crazy.
They have increased their business, and the result has been that over €500,000 in revenue has increased for them.
The time saved, let's say, at the period that we are talking about, but as the business grows, those numbers obviously are going higher and higher.
When you're trying to eliminate humans, by that I don't mean shoot them or throw them out of job. I just mean the human intervention for each and every data. It makes a
Sure.
difference. We are humans. Yes, we fall sick. We may have something going in our mind, or we just having a bad day. A lot of variables are there that can go wrong. But then this ensures that your data is there in real time. Yes, things could go wrong. At the end of the day, this is created by man for man. It could go wrong. But then the probability of this going wrong versus a human is much lower.
No, I also think that automation and specifically Zoho Flow is a fantastic tool. We use it a lot. The way that we are functioning, we are trying as a company to have as less points of failure. So if we can have an easy direct integration, we'll do it. If there is no an easy way, then we'll go obviously to Zoho Flow. In the
Correct.
past, before Zoho Flow, we used to work a lot with Zapier. But since Zoho Flow came in, Zapier probably is being used about 5% of the time, and majority of the time will be Zoho Flow. It's part of the Zoho One license. It's part of the. I also trust more that Zoho will take care of the data in a different way than Zapier or other companies. I don't know what they're standing for, but Zoho, I know almost everybody at Zoho, from number one all the way down, and it's a good company. It's good people. They're trying to do good to the world. The way that they are protecting their data, the data is being managed in a certain way, the way that the company treats its employees, everything is just I find it magical. It's a company for sure that I want to give the most business I can to.
Thank you, Leo. It's at the end of the day, we build it for our customers. Business, yes, runs on money, but then money comes in only when you trust another person or another business.
Look, it was super interesting conversation. I learned a lot from it. It gave me lots of good ideas of how to take advantage of Zoho Flow.